coast do you think is like doing the most work? Like, do you think like the South is putting in the most work, the East, the West? Like,
I want to say like as far as just hustle, I'm definitely going the West just for
mm,
hustle alone. Like, cause man, people in the West like be dropping like 40 albums in like 5 years,
that
man.
is true. That is
So
true.
when it comes to the work, I'm going the West, not necessarily just the Bay, because I'm not gonna that's just biased as hell.
Yeah.
But like just in general, like the
Nah, I
West.
mean the Bay. I think the Bay is in its
Mhm.
own world, bro. Like shout out to LA. I love LA, but like there's
Yeah,
something about the Bay where like even the old heads are still putting in work. Like, bro, like for some reason E40 still makes headlines, even though if it's not him dropping music, he still
mhm.
makes headlines. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. There's like a OG rapper from Fairfield. His name's Baby Mac. He's not like hella popular or anything, but he'll like come over at my job. I work at like a car shop, and he'll come through to get his car worked on, and I'll just talk. Dude, I'll get in trouble because I'll be talking hip hop with him for like 30 minutes, and my boss is like, "Yo, like, get back to work." He's cool.
All I'm gonna say is there's a reason why Cali and Texas are the only two states where rappers can blow up in their state and they don't have to tour anywhere else.
Anywhere else, man.
They
Big
can
facts,
just
man.
tour in their state and they'll be just fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Now
Shout
with
out Slim
that,
Thug.
yeah, shout out to Texas. They got their own thing going on too. But what coast do you think supports the most?
Supports the most. Like, what do you mean
Yeah,
by that?
like who do you think shows love the most? You think like the West Coast shows their artists love the most, the East shows love the most, or the South?
I'm probably gonna have to go to South because,
Okay.
for example, you go listen to an album like "People's Champ" from Paul Wall.
Right.
Literally, like every other lyric on that album is like, "What you know about sipping drink? What you know about DJ Screw?" It's always like that. Like he's shouting out everybody from, and even Big Crit. Big Crit's one of my favorite rappers of all time.
Right.
Another great double album from Big Crit. Forever's a mighty long time. Peep that if you haven't. But yeah, yeah, and he's newer. He's more 2010s, and he shows love. He just dropped the album December 2025 with like a Cadillac on the cover, and he had a track on there with like it had Paul Wall, it had Slim Thug, it had Lil Kiki, it had some other guys on there, and then he just dropped the whole chopped and screwed version of that album. So it's like
Yeah,
I would definitely have
it's
to go.
kind of like
Yeah,
uh, unlimited content glitch they got in Texas, man. They'll drop an album and they'll drop a chop and screwed album
yeah,
right after, and it'll still sell. Like it's kind of crazy how that
yeah.
works.
And speaking of the South, a lot of what Tail is doing nowadays is very Southern inspired, and that's really cool. That's really cool to me.
Yeah.
Like he'd be chopping the samples the way they do. He'd be slowing it down. He'd be doing like, man, his flow has gotten so much better, man. Like
Nah, that's
so,
dope. I mean,
once that drops, man, you definitely got to react to that one. So,
that's that's what the hip hop culture's about, bro. I mean, it
mhm.
wouldn't be a culture if we can't borrow from each other. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, for
The
sure.
South wanted to sound like the West Coast for the longest time until they
Yeah.
developed their own thing. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, that's low key how I feel about Detroit. I think Detroit, out of anywhere else, sounds the most like the Bay than in anything else.
I agree. Um, let's see. What do you? We're gonna go like drift topics real quick.
Mhm.
But I think it was 2 years ago now. Kendrick called out J. Cole and Drake. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like we're basically in the aftermath spot of it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? J. Cole just dropped the project. Drake is still Drake. Drake, people thought his career was gonna be over. Drake is still
It was
Drake.
not gonna be over. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
over.
Do you think J. Cole should still be considered the big three, even though he decided to like back away from the beef and all
Mm.
that? I'm mainly bring this up because J. Cole was one of the biggest people like advocating that
Mhm.
he was the big three, and he was dissing a lot of like the little rappers. You know what I mean? Like the little Pumps, like the little
Yeah,
Uzi, like,
yeah.
all of them. You know what I mean? Like, and then when it came time for real competition, he backed away. Do you think he should still be considered top three or big three? I shouldn't say top three.
So there's almost two aspects that I would look at Cole, and the first aspect is gonna be as a competitor. Does it change the way I look at him as a competitor? Absolutely, because and I get it. Like smoking, when he talks about smoking a rapper, it doesn't necessarily mean in a battle. It could just mean by getting on a song with them and having the better verse, like you did on Johnny P's Caddy, for example, with Benny the Butcher, or like just killing all the features that he was doing.
Right.
So I get that, you know, but as just on an artistic aspect, I would still consider him big three, man. His album just sold 300K first week.
I see what you're saying.
Like, he's still big three. Like, the big three doesn't necessarily mean like the best three, you know. It just means the big three. Those really, J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake are really like the biggest three artists in hip hop. That no matter what they'll drop an album, it'll do crazy numbers every time.
Yep.
Like 21 Savage album, that barely sold nothing. Like, it sold decent, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they're really the three that have had the longevity and stayed relevant. So yeah, he's still big three. I mean, I think the big three thing is kind of dumb because it's a little pointless. It's just like, yeah, there's gonna be a big three no matter who it is.
Yeah.
You know, it just happens to be them. But you know, I definitely think Cole's a better rapper than Drake. You know, and it's almost like I feel like the beef almost made Drake look worse than Cole, because I mean Drake, he did stand on business, so that's cool. But I mean, he sued, and it's like, really, you sued because you lost a rap battle, like you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's
J. Cole didn't sue nobody.
Yeah, man, battle rap is in a weird space right now, man. I feel like
yeah, and Drake supports battle rap more than any other rapper. So it was just really a head scratcher when he did that. I mean, I'm not gonna deny Drake's influence, his impact. Drake, no matter what people say, Drake is important to the culture. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, like he puts people on, you know, he shouts out people. What did he do? Didn't he like fund like this whole like battle league or something?
Yeah, Drake did a lot, man. Drake does a lot in that aspect, but I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. But Kendrick, I mean, what did you think about GNX?
GNX, I think it's gonna go down as a classic album. But I will say it's probably my least favorite Kendrick album thus far. Why do
you say it's gonna go down to it's gonna be a classic album?
Because of the moment that it created. Like, that's an album that people are gonna look back at and remember, and it's still super critically acclaimed everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, so I just feel like with Kendrick, he really set a standard of giving you music that you can really chew on, like topically and conceptually and lyrically. GNX didn't really have that for me. It still had bangers, and honestly, like, GNX would be most rappers' best album, hands down.
Yeah. I think it'll be like a West Coast classic for sure, just because of all the West Coast people he had on there. Like, even though like the most of the world didn't know who some of those people were. Like, if you're from Cali, you at least recognize some of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like Peso, man. I was happy when
Peso, or like what's his name? Lefty Gunplay. Yeah, Lefty Gunplay on there. Like,
Lefty, he got Lefty his first Grammy, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's that's crazy.
And he did that. Lefty did that little speech. He's like, "I fuck with Kendrick Lamar, man. We put on the Latino community." It was just funny. It was just so funny.
Else, man.
Just such an odd situation for sure.
Lefty's an interesting character, man. I'm not gonna get into that. I got a lot to say about Lefty.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah. He reminds me of my homie Beto, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you guys wonder how like Sureños and stuff get down and how they speak, look at Lefty Gunplay. That's how a lot of Sureños speak, man. That is not an exaggeration. That's real life.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know because I ain't, you know.
That's real life, man. Like, all that
around there.
That's how those Latinos like this. I don't want to say all Latinos in SoCal speak like that, but if they're like gangbanging and they're like some Sureño type guy, yeah, they're probably gonna speak a little bit close to what Lefty sounds like. You know what I mean? But